Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to the Stinkbug Works. This morning, I got a whole bunch to talk about. For a while, Big B and I were at the same phase in the build of our respective hydroplanes. His quite large, mine quite small. Big B's going to rapidly outpace me in my build because I'm working on two other simultaneous projects and not putting nearly as much time into boat building as I should. So, he's going to get way ahead of me. But much of the thinking that he did in his first episode or two applies to either size boat. I mean, it's all the same, figuring out the balance point and such. I'm going to approach it just ever so slightly differently because of mainly the limitations of size. There's a few things that have to go where they have to go. The rudder has to go in the back. The strut has to go in the back. The servo, it can go pretty much anywhere. So can the speed control. So can the batteries. The motor, on the other hand, has some limitations. I got my motor mount t'other day, and my plan was to grip this ring on the 1107 motor, but the motor tapers, and I can't get a good grip on that ring. Now, I could maybe file this down, but I don't really want to do that. And I'll tell you why. See, this is an 1107. And so it's basically the end of the motor is this step here. So that's how long an 1107 motor is. These, I've got a couple of 1112 motors, but they're, again, considerably longer and heavier. There's the key word, heavier. And so I got to thinking, and I said, this is a pretty small boat, and I've got it sitting on top of, just for a size comparison, sitting on top of my shrimp boat, the shrimp boat outrigger. You remember what I'm powering the shrimp boat with? Now remember, this little boat does 45 on 2S. I'm powering it with a 1105 motor. That's a size smaller than this one I had originally intended. And I got to thinking, and I kind of mentioned to Big B, I'd like to see him build, a really light build. And then I thought to myself, why don't I follow my own advice and build a really light build? So to that effect, this can now go back over there. To that effect, I've changed plans. Where my plans were originally to run that helicopter motor, the 1107, we're now going to run an 1105. And here's the next question. This is an 1105 2Y. It has a KV of just over 4,000 RPM per volt. Should I run another 2Y at 4,000 RPM per volt, or should I bump down to a 1.5Y at 4,500 RPM per volt and run a smaller prop? This being a smaller boat, I could probably get away with a smaller prop. This is on the order of magnitude of the Atlas. It's the same size as the Atlas. And the Atlas runs really good on a 30 to 32 millimeter prop. So I'm thinking this thing should have props in the 27 to 32 millimeter range. And if you put enough power into a 27 millimeter prop, these things will go real well. So part of me is thinking a higher KV, 4,500. Now, it's going to be a 2S boat. You know, look how big it is. It's a 2S boat. 4,500 RPM per volt on 2S. That's roughly 8 volts. So that's 8 times 4 is 32. Yeah, that's like 40,000 RPM at the shaft, wide open. That's a little higher than recommended for sport running, but for something like this, I think I may do that. What do you guys think? Should I keep with a KV I know works, or should I go with a screamer in here and put a little prop and just let this thing scream? What do you guys think? I'm kind of leaning towards screamer. And so I'll call Steve tomorrow and order a motor from him. So let me know what you think. Until then, jet out.